Despite having to deal with a corrupt, discriminatory system of power that threatens to destroy my brother's livelihood and throw the last 5 years of his life down the drain for arguably petty reasons, despite me dumping countless hours into making an overly ambitious video that I know no one's going to watch, and despite me about to have a meltdown because my 13-year-old dog is beginning to show telltale signs that he's about to die, I made sure to have time for Dying Light 2. How could I not? It's my baby. Well, more like the other child. Dying Light 2 just got another update and event, just in time for the jolly holidays. There are new enemies, weapons, animations, and more. In all honesty, it's nothing major, we're just being drip-fed content to keep us invested until the big stuff drops. I should take notes. So, put on your warmest gear and let's discuss what's been added. And yes, I'm aware that Aiden's arms and wrists look really skinny without gauntlets, but let's just deal with it. Again, I'm going to start with the event since it's only temporary and not part of the actual long-term update content. So, the winter event. Yes, this one. I like it. Techland went all out with this one because, if you couldn't already tell, it's snowing. There is snow everywhere in the world, and it's even in the mountains. And it's not just lazily slapped on either. If you look under ledges and objects that cover the ground, there'll actually be less snow on there. And even though it makes my game frame, despite me being on performance mode, I think it looks real pretty. Hopefully they keep it in the game. But it wouldn't really make sense if you were playing the game in like the summer and it started snowing, but who cares, it's a video game. It is a little iffy though. Sometimes all the snow will just disappear, leaving you sad, but if you go to sleep and wake up, the game will correct itself. Major safe zone locations have been decorated to fit the Christmas spirit. You can tell the devs had a lot of fun with it, with all the pretty lights and the snowmen everywhere. It's just nice to look at. The decorated safe zone locations are the bazaar, the PK ship, the fisheye, the Plague Witch's hut, aka the Poppy Lady, and the PK Metro, even though everyone's dead. The safe zones also play a remixed version of the first game's menu and following theme. Many enemies have been given holiday makeovers. It's the same as last year's, but I'll still explain. There are green naughty zombies that shuffle the streets, naughty bolters that roam during the day, and swear to God thought was the Night Hunter when I first caught a glimpse of them. There are snowman demolishers. They were my favorite last year, but there's a new Christmas zombie that takes the cake. I was trying to get some combat footage from these renegades, and I kid you not, I was jumped by a bunch of little people. Yep, there are naughty little elf virals like in the first game's Christmas events. I love these little guys. You can finally live out every gamer's fantasy of killing a bunch of small people. They have normal viral behavior, so you can just be minding your own business, and then suddenly these little elves will pop out and just come for you. And using skills that have an animation, such as block charge or takedowns, it'll scale them back to normal size, but then shrink them down again. These zombies will give you certain status effects when killed, such as increased speed or jump height. They also contain event currencies when searched, such as candies, decorations, and baubles. All paid for in blood. You collect these currencies and exchange them for goodies at everyone's favorite vendor, Baka! Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bells swing. And no joke, he goes... And seeing all these festivities, you might be thinking to yourself, hey, I want to participate in spreading holiday cheer. Well, don't worry your little elf head, because with Baka's help, you can. Outside of the bazaar, you can find this oddly perfect pine tree. You can exchange your baubles and lights for these decoration kits that you can use on it. I'll just go ahead and show you the various stages of decorations. So, you have the naked pine tree, which is how it looks when you first... The first stage adds these red ornaments. The second stage adds more colorful ornaments and presents that you can pick up every now and then. And this third stage finishes off with pretty lights and a star on top. Baka will also sell you snowballs, so go and give them to others for free, zombies and humans alike. Hey Snowman Demolisher, let's have a snowball fight. And be careful when doing snowball pranks on volatiles in the hood. They don't play like that. But Baka is more than just a simple vendor in this event. No. Baka has connections. So, like in previous events, you do challenges to level up your rank with Baka. The challenges are fairly easy, no co-op quests thank god. There is one where you have to kill a Frosted Bolter. Frosted Bolters are not unique enemies like I thought. You literally just have to freeze a bolter and then kill it. Anyways, when you level up Baka, you'll receive a letter to Santa. You deposit these letters in this letterbox located next to him, and when you do so, you'll receive a gift drop from the Santa airplane. Everyone will want to come see the Santa airplane. You will be notified of its location by a marker and a pretty little flare show in the sky. Be careful when approaching your prize though. The aforementioned naughty zombie gang will be surrounding it. Luckily, I bought bloody ties, so there's nothing a little camouflage can't solve. And since you're camouflaged, you might as well go ahead and stab everyone and loot their collectibles. Funnily enough, I insta-killed the snowman demolisher with a knife throw. You'll have to lockpick your chest. The demolishers in front of the chest make it a little difficult though. And once open, you'll be rewarded with some presents, event gear, or the new event weapon. The new event weapon is called the Skull, I think it's pronounced. And the description tells the tale about the wolf chasing the sun that I learned from God of War. Its main gimmick is that when thrown, it returns back to you, like Van Crane. All the Be the Zombie players loved Van Crane. It's pretty good, has decent damage, and has frost status effects on it. One last thing, and I don't know how to feel about this. Techland's feeling generous and are giving away 2 bundles for free, the Hack-On and Nutcracker bundle. Now, you might be thinking, oh, I already bought these bundles with money, so what do I get in return?
What do I win? Nothing! What?
Nope, not to my knowledge. You get no compensation if you already bought these bundles. I wouldn't really know because I haven't bought anything. That'll teach you for buying anything. It's like when you buy a game and then it ends up going on sale or being free for the next month. That pretty much wraps up the Christmas event. So now we'll go into the actual update content. Since we kinda left off on the event weapon, we'll discuss the new weapons first. I'm still working on my segues, leave me alone. There's a new weapon type, the polearm. These are what heavy weapons should have been. Seriously, if you never use heavy weapons like me, give these polearms a try. Jabby and stabby, these are really good for wanting to get high damage hits in quickly and at a decent range. And I'm talking high damage. There are a few variants, but you can get this really cool one that I like from Shinzu. Renegades that usually wield throwing spears can use polearms, and drop them when killed. These renegades don't have a unique skill set though. And it should be noted that all polearms are of the slashing type, because I don't think a blunt polearm would really do anything to anyone. I mean it would, but I'm assuming having sharp metal pierce your brain is way more effective than blunt force trauma. There are a new family of weapons, the nocturnal weapons. They use the same models as already existing weapons, but they are adorned with a geometric honeycomb pattern that glow in the dark. I think you can find these in the world, like through golden renegade encounters, but you can easily pick some up from Harper. Unfortunately, I don't have any Harper tokens, so I'll be right back. By the way, why is it so bright in here now? It's a mystery. But not as big as mystery as to why so many people skip to the end of this Your Movie Sucks compilation channel. There are a decent roster of nocturnal weapons. I don't have them all, but I'm not wasting another 20 minutes with Harper. Here's a grid of what I think are all of the weapons from the Pilgrim Outpost. What a stupid name. They should have kept it Techland GG. You could also spend tokens from the website to purchase a case containing some of these weapons. They honestly remind me of the scrapped glowing weapons from the first game, if you know what I'm talking about. Now, these aren't just reskins. They have special attributes which makes them unique. They give you large damage boosts to certain enemies, but only at night. There is a risk with this though. Every time you deal damage with a nocturnal weapon, you will lose a decent chunk of your immunity. And I mean a decent chunk. So make sure you have plenty of boosters and UV bars to keep you alive. I personally think that the drain is a little too intense, but it's fine. It's not like you're forced to use these weapons. We got some new throwables too. Going to any Craftmaster, you will be able to buy blueprints for some throwing stars. No elemental variants though. They don't do a lot of damage. Their attribute is you get to throw multiple at once, 7 at max. They're good for hitting multiple zombies to stun them or maybe to hit some gas tanks. Like I said, no elemental stars, so meh. I'm probably just going to stick with throwing knives. Or you can use the new exploding throwing knives. These are a little hidden because you have to visit PK Craftmasters in specific. You can easily find one at their ship. These honestly kinda suck. They're good for disrupting hordes or, again, blowing up gas tanks or gas tank zombies. Other than that, they're just viral magnets. By the way, do not use these against virals. Trust me. It takes maybe 2 to 3 knives to kill a zombie. Mind you, this is with them being max level and me having the legend boost for throwing and explosive damage. I am on hard mode though. Side note, take everything that I've said in this video with hard mode in mind. Speaking of hard modes, we still don't have a Night Runner difficulty, but if you want to see what it's like in the first game, then go here. Remember what I said in that other video? Plus, the takedowns are very repetitive, although I bet they're gonna add more later on. Ooh, there was no tasteless joke. It was all a mass hallucination. Could you imagine if I was like pyrocynical and I was making a video like this, and I go into my inventory and instead of Aiden being there, it was like some wide-hipped protogen, and I just didn't comment on it? Anyways, new weapons means new takedowns. 3 in fact. Check them out. They also added a few other means of getting a takedown prompt. Takedowns can now prompt when getting perfect blocks, perfect dodges, X-rays, and escaping zombie grapples. By the way, I've always noticed this since the game first launched like 2 years ago. Tell me that this isn't a leftover placeholder of Crane's voice. You know, one gripe I've had, and mind you, this was before the gore update and takedowns, is that Aiden is not violent enough. You know, for this being an epic zombie sandbox game. Most of Aiden's violent nature was kept strictly to cutscenes, and that's not even him. That's him in like his zombo mode. But now Aiden bashes heads, decapitates full people, gouges eyes, slices throats, feeds knuckle sandwiches. I dare say he's more violent than Crane now. I mean, come on, is this really necessary? Here's a few other things that I'll just squeeze in right here. They changed the block charge dismount prompt. Cool. You have your Night Runner tools on New Game Plus. Cool. And here's a big one, for PlayStation at least, not sure about other platforms. You can do cross-gen save. Cool. So, the patch notes claim that they changed the far jump animation, but in reality they just changed its flow. Now when doing a far jump, you no longer slightly pause, it's all just one fluid motion. Hey, anything that makes me faster and doesn't make me lose momentum, I'm all for. Though, if you do it fast enough, it kinda looks like Aiden just glides.
She was a fairy.
I still prefer the pre-release far jump showed in the demonstration clip. By the way, let me rant here for a second. They need more animations where they showcase Aiden's athleticism. Like, remember the old grapple animation where he'd grab their arm and then reach up and kick them in the head? We need more stuff like that. Imagine a takedown where he does like a roundhouse kick and freaking launches their head off. Kinda like that one move that Crane does in the pit. Or give us an option where if we tap the jump button twice while in the air, he does like a flip or something. It wouldn't really be too out of place either, since Aiden's whole life consists of him running and fighting. Also, they need to work on a few more parkour flow improvements. My biggest gripe is that when you acquire Crowd Runner, you can no longer block charge at full momentum, because you activate Crowd Runner by blocking while running. I never bought Crowd Runner and just settled for Bash for the longest time, but after Legend levels came out, I was kinda forced to buy Crowd Runner. And it sucks. Rant aside, let's talk about some new enemy variants. I'll rant about that soon enough. Starting with the biters, we got 2 new ones. We have a new fire gas tank zombie that looks like the guy from Lethal Company. They behave like typical gas tank zombies, being ultra sensitive to any touch. When you hit their gas tanks, it'll cause basically napalm to spew all over the place and leave a semi-trail of fire. And to my knowledge, it'll keep going until they're killed. There are frost gas tank zombies too. There are a lot of gas tank zombie variants in this update, you'll see. When you activate their tank, it'll spew out ice that can freeze other zombies around them. It can be useful, I guess. It doesn't affect you or harm you in any way. So, imagine a howler, right? But he actually fulfilled his New Year's resolution and actually hit the gym. That's practically what this new goon variation is like. They behave as typical goons, lugging around and slamming their big rebars, but they'll suddenly stop and let out a loud shriek, attracting banshees of all things. Goon pimp. I guess the devs realized they haven't been utilizing banshees enough. Not all goons do this though, only the variants. And from what I can see, you can't really differentiate a normal goon from this new screaming variant, but trust me, you'll know when you see one. We got a few new virals too. There's the normal gas tank virals. These guys are as sensitive as ever. Literally any touch will make them bust. Sometimes you can use this to your advantage, but most of the time it'll just end up attracting more virals. Next, we have a toxic viral that can spit projectiles at you. Had to articulate my words for that one. These things home in on you and deal massive damage. They have a big wind-up time though, and you can block them if you have the skill. You can even shoot their own projectiles back at them. These virals are a little rare, so don't worry about them much. The chances of running into a toxic viral are low, but never zero. Finally, we got some new renegades, and you know what I'm gonna say, they're variants. Variants of the heavy renegades, to be exact. You got fire, electric, and toxic variants. They don't really change much, they're all practically the same. They just give you lingering damage after they hit you. Except for the toxic renegade, he obscures your vision with the poison slightly. In reality, they only really affect the zombies that they can fight occasionally. Alright, I'm gonna say it. I am kinda sick of elemental variants of enemies. I know, they're saving the real enemies for the DLC, but man, it gets old seeing the same normal biter, electric biter, toxic biter, fire biter, normal viral, electric viral, toxic viral, normal goon, electric goon, toxic goon, fire goon, normal guy, electric guy, toxic guy, fire guy. I mean, if you're not gonna make new enemies, then at least rework a few of them to make them feel like they're new, like the drowners. Rework the drowners. Well, that's everything. Yeah, bit of an abrupt ending, I know. I don't really know what else to say. How was your Christmas? Christmas was a little different for me this year. My brother had to work on the morning of Christmas, so we waited until 7 o'clock p.m. when he came home, and he was so tired that he just went to sleep, so we opened our presents the next day, on the 26th. And I had to do that awkward thing where I had to act thankful, but tried not to make it seem forced. I mean, I am, don't get me wrong, it's just that I've never really been good at expressing gratitude. I got pretty much the same type of gifts that I get every year. You know, I'm young, play video games, so my family just gets me a bunch of electronics and lights to hang up in my room. My brother did give me this epic monkey bomb controller holder. It's a statue, it's not a doll. The hat doesn't move, the crank doesn't turn, the paint's chipped a little bit, but I like it. I had to resist throwing it into a furnace. Like I said, working on a big video, you better watch it. Honestly, considering live streaming. But if I do, you better watch it too. Do not embarrass me by having low viewers. I'm only considering live streaming to, you know, it's becoming increasingly apparent that I'm taking longer to release new videos. Especially, like I said, with this new one I'm making, you better watch it! So yeah, that's the end of the video. And before you say anything, the song link is in the description. We need to normalize reading video descriptions.